Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Dipti Kulkarni, lecturer, Department of Physics, KLS Gogte PU College, Belgavi. In continuation with my earlier video on moving charges and magnetism, this is my fourth lecture from the same chapter. In this video, I am going to discuss about toroids. Based on this toroid concept, we are going to learn few derivations. So in the last video, we discussed what is a solenoid. So here the spiral shaped coil is called a solenoid. Okay, so here this is a spiral shaped coil which is wounded, so this is called what? Toroid. But here both the ends are joined. Okay, or we can say that toroid is nothing but it is a circular shaped endless solenoid. Suppose if we consider the solenoid like this, so this is an endless solenoid is called a toroid. Okay, so this is an example for the real life where we use the toroids in our day-to-day life. And toroids are they are having the uniform magnetic field inside. Okay, so they are nothing but it is they are based on the Ampere's circuital law. We are going to learn toroids. Okay, the current encloses the surface of that area. Okay, and the magnetic field is exist where the inside the region where the current is flowing on the surface. Okay, so this is regarding the toroid. This is a information regarding the toroid. Okay, please go through this. Next one, expression for magnetic field due to current carrying toroid by using Ampere's circuital law. So we know what is Ampere's circuital law. So according to that, line integral of a closed magnetic field, okay, is equal to mu naught times of the net current, means B dot dl is equal to mu naught into I. So this is from the Ampere's circuital law. Applying that law, we are going to connect that law, or we are going to study the toroid, okay, using what? Ampere's law. Now if we consider this is a toroid, so here I just shown here, this is a loop 3, this is a loop 3. Okay, these are imaginary surfaces. Oh, loop 3, and this is a loop 2. Okay, and inside this circular path, okay, this is called loop 1. Okay, here small dot and cross symbols are shown. It means we discussed already in the beginning that the current, whether it is outside or inside, so the solenoid is like this. So endless solenoid is called a toroid. This is the diagram. Okay, here how many turns are there? We don't know how many turns are present here, so we consider number of turns denoted by n. Okay, and what is the length of this total coil? That also we don't know. We assume length of the coil is L. Okay, so here I just shown here R1, R2, R3, they are the radii. Okay, and loop 1, 2, 3, they are from the Ampere circular loop we are assuming. Okay, how we assumed the Gaussian surface, similarly here Ampere loop we are going to assume loop 1, 2, 3, and radii are R1, R2, R3, and let P, S, Q be 3 points through the toroid. So here in the figure it is shown. Okay, P and S, Q. Okay, so R1, R2, R3. Okay, then PQS are the points here in this diagram it is shown. Okay, next one, according to Ampere's circuital law, if any closed surface encloses current, then there exists a magnetic field in that region. So we already studied this one, so I am not going in detail about this. Okay, so loop 1 does not enclose the toroid, because loop 1 means, you just go through the diagram, this is a loop 1, so it does not encloses, okay, does not encloses the toroid. Each turn of toroid encloses equal and opposite currents, so that the net current is 0. So inside that, in the loop 1, the net current is 0. Then there is no question of magnetic field, definitely it is also 0. Okay, and next one, along the loop 3, there also we observe the magnetic field 0 because it is away from the current element. Okay, but loop 2 encloses the net current, therefore there exists magnetic field at all points like S inside the toroid. So loop 2 means we are interested in this loop, so here current is present, that is the reason we are going to observe the magnetic field. This is away from the element, okay, current element, that is the reason there is no question of current and magnetic field, both are 0. Inside also it is 0. Okay, carefully see here, this is the coil where the magnetic field is present around this, that is nothing but the loop is 2, second loop. Okay, next one, mathematical part. According to the law, Ampere circuital law, we know that the B dot, okay, Ampere circuital law, B dot dl is equal to mu naught times of net current. Okay, you can call it as, this is equation number 1. Okay, the next one, the length of the toroid, okay, or a closed endless solenoid is L, and number of turns are present, number of turns are like this. So for that reason we don't know how many turns are there, and that turns are denoted by this N. Okay, then current is passing through this, okay, through this coil, that is the reason I. So N L I, N means number of turns, okay, L means length, total length of the coil, I is current, where current is passing through this coil. You can call it as, this is equation number 2. Equation 1 and 2, equation 2 in 1, okay, in equation 2 we have to substitute in equation 1. We know that from the Ampere circuital law, B dot dl is equal to mu naught into I, and you have to substitute the NL value. Along with that we have to substitute the NL value also. Okay, and where mu naught is nothing but it is a permeability, okay, permeability of free space. The next step, mu naught into NL, okay, where Ni and L is length of the Ampere in loop 2. We are interested in loop 2, there is no question of loop 1 and 3, there we will get 0, magnetic field is 0, so we are interested only in loop 2. So L means length of the second loop. Okay, so how much it is? Of course the shape of the loop is circular, that is the reason length of that loop is 2 pi r2. R2 why I mentioned here, radii for the second loop is r2, that is the reason r2 here. Mu naught Ni as it is, you can call it as, this is equation number 3. We have LHS side B dot dl as it is, okay, B dot dl, and closed path also you can show circular with a circular ring like this, integration of this symbol B dot dl. Okay, so what is here B dot dl? B, if you remove this dot, okay, then we have to add this cos theta. Okay, but here theta is equal to 0. Okay, so that is the reason the angle between the B and dl is 0, that is the reason answer. If we substitute the theta value in this, we will get 1. So B dl, integration of B dl, B you have to take it out, integration dl. What is dl? 2 pi r2, okay, that is the length of the loop 2, 2 pi r2. So this is equation number 4. Now compare the equation 3 and 4, because both are for B dot dl, LHS side is the same here, okay, LHS side is the same, that is the reason we have to compare equation 3 and 4. After comparison of equation 3 and 4 and after simplification, we will get B is equal to mu naught into N into I. So this is the final expression for the magnetic field, which is very very important to solve the problems. Okay, I hope you understood this derivation. Next one, expression for the force experienced by a current carrying conductor placed in a uniform magnetic field. This is very interesting and beautiful theory. So where we studied already this type of derivation in the first chapter also. If we, first and second chapter, we studied about the torque, and if we keep a dipole in presence of the uniform electric field, and then it experiences torque. Okay, same type of example here. Consider a uniform magnetic field. These parallel lines are nothing but they shows the magnetic field is present here, and this is a conductor where the conductor length we don't know, we denote by L. Okay, and the current is passing from upward to downward, like this it is passing, the current is flowing in this. Okay, and consider a free electron. We are considering free electron, any one free electron if we assume from this conductor. It doesn't mean that only one electron is present, many are there, but we are going to consider for the reference a electron, one free electron. Okay, then if we keep a conductor or the wire like this, okay, then what will happen to the force, okay, to the magnetic field? Okay, suppose if we keep the conductor which carries a current in presence of magnetic field, definitely it experiences force. Then we observe like this, the torque will start rotating, the conductor will start rotating like this. Okay, once again I will show you. See, the conductor will start rotating like this. Because of what? Because of presence of this magnetic field. Okay, this current is also flowing in this, okay, through this conductor. Along with that current, magnetic field is also present. So due to these two, it experiences force. Okay, so we can say it's sort of force or torque. Okay, now some more mathematical parts from that derivation. L is the length of conducting wire, okay, of which is a uniform, which is present on the uniform magnetic field B. I is the current in the wire, okay, where we observe the flow of electrons. Okay, the magnetic force acting on the charged particles is given by, we know that the force formula, magnetic force formula, already we learned in the beginning of this chapter. F is equal to B Q V sin theta, call it as equation number 1, where B is a magnetic field, Q is a charge, V is a velocity, theta is the angle between directions of B and V. We know that velocity definition. What is velocity? This displacement upon time taken. Instead of this, here we can assume L by T, length divided by time, length of the wire divided by time, because electrons are flowing in that conductor, so we have to consider the length of that conductor with respect to time. So velocity is equal to length divided by time. You can call it as, this is equation number 2. Equation 2 in 1 means we have to substitute V value in this equation. Then F is equal to Q B Q L divided by T sin theta. All factors same except this V. Instead of V, L by T. But we know that Q divided by T is current. Q by T is current. So instead of this Q divided by T, we have to substitute here current I. Then after substituting and simplifying the equation, how much we got? F is equal to BIL sin theta, where theta is the angle between the directions of length vector and magnetic field. Okay, so we have to remember this expression. This is very, very important. F is equal to BIL sin theta. I hope you understood both the derivations. If you need any further questions and answers from the 4th chapter, please go through the link given below. Thank you.